Good morning, everyone. I am Samantha Estuesta, the discussant for today, and my topic is all about morphological change. For our objectives, at the end of this lesson, students are expected to define morphology, discuss the purposes for studying morphology, explore sequence of instruction for morphology, and participate in activities that lead to developing morphological awareness. So what is morphology? Morphology is the study of structure and form of words and language, including inflection, derivation, and the formation of compounds. Morphology is the study of forms. Morphology is the branch of linguistics and one of the major components of grammar that studies word structures, especially in terms of morphemes. Morphology is the study and description of word formation as inflection, derivation, and compounding in language. So next we have morphemes. A morpheme is the smallest unit of meaning. We have cat has one morpheme, cats has two morphemes, finger has one morpheme, interruption has three morphemes, and photogenic has three morphemes. So, morpheme is the minimal unit of meaning or grammatical function. It is a meaningful linguistic unit consisting of a word, such as man, or a word element, such as ed and walked, that cannot be divided into smaller meaningful parts. It is the smallest morphological unit that cannot be divided into smaller parts. In English, words like talks, talker, talked, talking must consist of one element talk and a number of other elements such as s, er, ed, and ing. For example, we have reopened. Reopened has three morphemes, which is re, open, and ed. Re is a minimal unit of meaning, which is again. Open is the minimal unit of meaning, and ed is the minimal unit of grammatical function that indicates past tense. Next example, we have tourists. Tourist has three morphemes, which is tour, ist, and s. Tour is the minimal unit of meaning, and ist is the minimal unit of meaning, marking the person who does something, and s is the minimal unit of grammatical function that indicates plural. So we have two types of morpheme. First, we have free morpheme and a bound morpheme. Free morpheme are morphemes that constant by themselves as a single word. In other words, are those which can stand alone as words of a language. They may be lexical morphemes or a grammatical morphemes. For example, care, teach, help, above, and etc. So there are also types of free morpheme. First, we have lexical morpheme, a word that conveys information in a text or speech act is known as a lexical morpheme. Next, we have functional morpheme. Functional or grammatical morpheme are morphemes that consist of the functional words in the language such as conjunction, prepositions, articles, and pronouns. For example, and, in, the, that, it, she, and etc. The second type of morpheme is bound morpheme. Bound morphemes are those morphemes that cannot stand normally alone and are typically attached in another form. A bound morpheme is a morpheme that only appears as part of a larger word. The morphemes that occur only in combination are called bound morphemes. For example, un in unhappy, er in teacher, less in careless, ed in talked, ing in teaching. All prefixes and suffixes are bound morphemes. When free morphemes are used with bound morphemes attached, the basic word forms are known as stem. For example, carelessness. Care is a stem or free morpheme. Less is the suffix or bound. Ness is the suffix or bound. There are a number of the English words in which the element treated as stem is not a free morpheme. For example, in words like reduce, repeat, and receive, these types of form are called bound stems to distinguish between them and the free stems. There are also types of bound morpheme. We have derivational morpheme, are those bound morphemes that we use in making new words or making words of a different grammatical category from the stem. For example, goodness. Goodness. Good is an adjective and ness is derivational morpheme. And goodness is a noun. A list of derivational morphemes includes suffixes such as ish, less, ly, and etc. Affixes such as re, pre, un, ex, mis, co, and etc. Next, we have inflectional morpheme. Inflectional morpheme are those morphemes that are used to indicate aspects of the grammatical function of a word, which is cleaned, clean plus ed. Inflectional morphemes are also called inflections. So for my conclusion, morphology is the study of words and their parts. Morphemes like prefixes, suffixes, and base words are defined as the smallest meaningful units of meaning. Morphemes are important for phonics in both reading and spelling, as well as in vocabulary and comprehension. Teaching morphemes unlocks the structures and meanings within words. It is very useful to have a strong awareness of prefixes, suffixes, and base words. These are often spelled the same across different words, even when the sound changes, and often have a consistent purpose and/or meaning.